The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
But welcome back to the Stadium View for the bye-week edition of the 5th quarter, as we've got a team that is coming off a week off and getting ready for, I don't know, many say the gauntlet of the schedule, and we'll dive into it with our special guest, Packer safety Kentrell. Brice is in the house, and we'll be joining him in just a couple of minutes alongside, as always. Hello, Matt Z.
Hello.
All right.
What'd you do with your bye week?
I suffered with the Brewer fans all across the world. That was a tough Saturday night.
Friday was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Electric. Then Saturday, you're right, was really, really tough. It sank in for me Saturday night. Sunday, felt pretty good about things, was looking very optimistically. Was just talking to one of the fans here at the 5th quarter and said, tomorrow night when the World Series kicks off, that's when it's really going to hit home that we were that close to being there.
They were that close. You know, but last year we were all wound up because they were that close to just making the playoffs.
Missed playoffs by a game.
Now you missed the World Series by a game.
Yep.
Let's hope they get there next year. But what a fun run for the Brewers. Congrats to Craig Counsell, David Stearns, and the whole crew. We got a little football to talk about. The 3-2-1 Packers coming off the break. And today they got back at it and did a little self-improvement session that we'll talk about. I got more on it on my News from the Pack blog. You can check it out. Comments from Mike McCarthy and Tremont Williams talking about the across-the-hall meetings. And Kentrell will shed some light on that as well. It was really the self-scout taken to another step that Mike McCarthy has developed over the last couple of years, where he gets the offensive guys together with the defensive guys, and the defensive players and assistant coaches meet with the offensive guys. Like, let's say, for Kentrell's case, we'll talk about the receivers coach and the receivers going against the corners and the safeties, and they just pick each other apart. Here's what you're doing right. Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what you can do better. And here's what you can do better. And it has been proven to be a very productive thing for Mike. He's been doing this now for quite a while. And I'm not going to argue with his record coming out of the break, 9-3.
It's pretty good.
Not bad. But then again, I don't think he's played any 7-0 teams among those 12.
Maybe not a team quite like the Rams. Another win over the weekend. They are really, really good. They've been on the road for a few weeks. They're really looking forward to getting back home.
Yeah, this will be their first home game in a month.
And then you've got a marquee matchup in Los Angeles with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy and all the other stars on the Packers. It's going to be a tough battle for the Packers, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, let's see how they get ready. The health of the team has gotten a little bit better, including our guest. He was going to be here a couple of weeks ago, but couldn't make it when he was rehabbing an ankle. So I know we got our first break in, so why don't we just bring him up?
Sure.
Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome a third-year veteran now with the Green Bay Packers. Got into the lineup a little bit last season. Worked his way and has become the full-time starter, succeeding Morgan Burnett at safety from La Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, Kentrell Brice to the 5th quarter. KB, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for coming over, man.
No problem.
How was the week off?
It was great.
What'd you do?
Spent time with my son and my family, and then took a little R&R and got to a little sunny place in Miami for a little bit.
Oh, a very sunny place in Miami.
Yeah.
Nice and hot. And you're going to a hot place again. I heard the forecast in L.A., mid-80s, lots of sunshine. You're going out there a day early, which is cool.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about things? 3-2-1. It's been a mixed bag, Kentrell. You've shut out a team, given up big plays. Statistically speaking, I know the numbers appear to be okay, but how do you feel about the first 6?
We got to clean up a lot of things. We're still not anywhere near our potential right now as far as the defense goes. We have a lot of things we have to clean up, and we have a lot of great players, so we know the potential that we can be, and so we're striving for that, so we're not satisfied at all.
Have we seen the full bucket list of Mike Pettin yet?
No.
No, I knew that was coming, and I think the reason for that is game situations. You've fallen behind. It seems to me when you are even or ahead is when Mike can really dial it up and start to dictate what he wants to do. Am I off on that?
Yeah, most definitely, because when you're behind, it's like you're having to maybe send more pressure, do more things to try to get the ball out and get turnovers and things like that. And so you just got to find ways to get in the groove and we can get going. So we don't have to try to fight back from behind or things like that.
Big step for you this year, jumping into the starting lineup.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Appreciate it.
we kind of saw early on, in camp that you were going to move in there and you weren't about to let it go.
Yeah,
that's your way.
I couldn't.
So well done on that. And your season started off with a bang. Dozen tackles. Big game against the Bears. You're second on the team in tackles, at that safety position. So you're being asked to make a lot of plays, not just at the back end, but get into the box, making things interesting.
Got to put my big boy pads on when I get down there.
You are a hitter first, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the physicality of the game, so you can say that.
Always been that way?
Yeah, always.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Z, what do you got for KB?
With the new defensive coordinator, new system, what's that transition been like for you as a player, learning that new system?
It was more easier than you would expect it to be, because in college I kind of had 4 defensive coordinators in 4 years, so I had a new defense every year. So honestly, it was just I had an old feel for it, went back to what I knew how to learn defenses from in college, and then just kind of got a feel for it and learned it.
You said we haven't seen the full potential of this defensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage have we seen?
It's hard to even put a percent on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, just right now, because you're in the groove and in the moment of it, you kind of have to sit totally back from it and really look at it to see what we have done and haven't done. But it's a bunch of stuff that we haven't did yet.
And you really haven't had the full complement. I mean, you got nicked a little bit. Jair's been nicked. Kevin's been out. Tremont put it this way last week to me. We need the whole band back together.
Yeah, we once we're healthy, we're rocking. We're doing things that, like in Buffalo, when we play Buffalo, shutout game. It's hard to shut anybody out in the NFL, especially leave 0 on the board. Even 3 is...
Even 3, even 7. Yeah, the second halves in particular, you guys have really been able to clamp down after either getting hit with some big plays, but is it adjustment, or is it things you talk about in the locker room about, hey, we got to do this, this, and this, or is it just playing better football?
We just got to play better coming out the gate. We really don't go in and change anything. We stay calm. We know what we can do, and we just go out and play ball. So we just got to figure out a way to come out and start fast.
All right.
Talk about how your game has changed since coming into the NFL. What have you learned about yourself as a player?
I've learned a lot. I learned the game is not all about hitting. Sometimes you have to make certain movements and things to make plays on the ball rather than hitting people. I've learned how to cover receivers more, because I didn't do that a lot in college. I did it, but I didn't do it as much as I do now. Just certain things that you have to just get a feel for and play the game and just have happen to you for you to learn, honestly. So it's just a lot of experience-wise that's helped me grow.
Humbling, I would imagine?
Yeah, some plays are very, very humbling, and then some plays you just be like, all right, I could have did better on that one by this play or this, but some plays just, things just kind of happen to you.
I remember the one, I don't want to bring up bad play, the play in Washington where the ball was just a little underthrown, and you were kind of turning around. That was that's one of those.
Yeah, it was at that moment, run as fast as I can, and somebody swipe under me and take my body. What you want me to do?
But I was also talking to Jair today, and he's a funny kid. Alexander is really an interesting guy. And, every time we ask him about either giving up a catch or even worse, a big play, he goes, what are you talking about? I don't know. Yeah,
you guys have a short memory.
Well, I know, but it's amazing how it's like the Tom Cruise movie where his memory gets erased, the instant he has that, something happen. If you don't, you're going to get beat again.
Yeah, because you can constantly think about it like, all right, why I did this, what happened here, and then you're stuck in your own head. So after that happens, you just got to let it go, honestly.
I know you can get to the next play, but do you get to, let's say, to the next series, are you thinking about it then?
No, you can't think about it after the game.
It's over and done with.
Yeah, it's over with. It's done. You can't change nothing about it.
How do you develop that, Kentrell? That's a skill that I wish a lot of people in any walk of life could have. You screw something up,
honestly, you have to get to a point to where you just can't care what anybody thinks, because they're going to have an opinion about you regardless. So
we're known for that. Yeah, we're known for that. We give you that all the time.
Especially in today's social media world, right? Yeah. It's instant reactions. You guys see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they honestly, they don't know you as a person. They just see a name in a jersey. So I really don't take it to heart. I really don't pay attention to it. Honestly, I'm not on social media, so I don't even see it.
Oh, okay.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a peaceful life.
I know. I'm on it. I'm on it, but I'm not addicted to it. Okay, I'll tweet during games and I'll give my thoughts on what's going on, from where I'm at, or a Brewer tweet or whatever, it's things like that. But just to react to everything that's going on 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it aside.
Yeah,
there it is.
I'm cool.
Huh?
I'm cool. I don't even need it.
Good for you. Yeah. That's hard. That's a hard temptation to resist.
Yeah.
Who would you say on the team is the most obsessed with their social media accounts?
Honestly, I can't even tell you because I'm not on it, so I can't see.
Okay, but I mean, they don't even talk about it or anything like that in the locker room.
I mean, you'll see people just on their phone and doing stuff, but I really keep to myself. I don't really what you doing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Big Test coming back.
Yeah, most definitely a 7-0.
You know what strikes me about Sean McVay's offense is that it seems so creatively different every week. That they're coming up with new things, new formations, new ways to attack. That's what really strikes me, and he has the weapons to do it. Not unlike what Andy's doing down in Kansas City, too.
Yeah, they're going to attack they're going to find your weakness, and then they're going to attack it. And then if they can figure out what you're in pre-snap, they're going to call for that weakness pre-snap in that call. So you just gotta play fundamentally sound, honestly. And you can't give tells in your body language, your signs, or anything like that.
And the communication on your end, it really starts from you, works its way forward.
Yeah.
Talk about taking on that role. It's been a big adjustment for you in that way, that you've got to make declarations, make sure it's understood.
Yeah,
10 other guys.
At first, I wasn't a talker, but most people, they know me, I don't really talk too much. But so when I do talk, it's demanding, like, this it, and we're going to do it.
That's what I was telling Matt.
Yeah.
He goes, what kind of guy is Kentrell? And I said, well, he's very to the point. And you are. You're very blunt, but in a very polite, nice sort of way. But I know you're going to be very blunt, but not so polite, with a helmet on.
Yeah, basically. You got between the lines, I become a different person. I'm really not nice.
You're not nice.
When does that switch flip for you?
Right before the game.
Just before, I mean,
I wake up that morning, I feel like, like you have everything bad that happened to you, and you try not to think about it. I welcome it. I let it in.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what game day's
You
for
bring
you.
on the bad thoughts.
Yeah. I let everything in.
Yeah, but that means you should be on social media.
No, but see,
Yeah, really.
And then look at that account just before kickoff.
In my position, I know me. I can't say something back
Right.
to somebody,
So
I can't.
So how do you not translate it into being over-eager, over-aggressive?
You just got to find
a balance.
You got to find a happy balance. And then once I found it, so once I get in it, I know I'm in it, and I just have fun in it.
What are your game day rituals?
I was gonna say this could get real interesting here.
Yeah.
I just chill and I just relax and I just think.
You just chill with a quiet anger bubbling up inside you?
I just let it boil. Let it boil. And then when I get out between the lines, if I see somebody talking, it's over. I'm in it. Like, I'm here. What's up?
And there's probably more jawing between receiver and DB than in any other positions. It seems like to me. Yeah. Offensive linemen, they're just grunting. They're getting up. They're going to be tired after whacking a 300-pounder. But out in the open field, we see a lot of.
You might be, no. Between the lines, the offensive line, they not nice.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine. But maybe it's more visible out in space.
Yeah, out in space, you can see the point, but they hitting each other every play, so they right there in each other's face.
Who, in your 3 years that you've come across on a defense, or on an offense, who's been the biggest trash talker? Who's been the biggest mouth that kind of sticks out for you? Offensive line, receiver.
Not necessarily in a bad way either.
Yeah, just a talker.
Around the league?
Yeah.
I really don't talk too much, so I really don't know unless you talk to me. But I can't even put a name on it. I have no idea. Yeah.
No memorable interactions for you, chatter-wise, with any certain players?
I had a couple encounters.
Close encounters.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Kentrell, Brice, our
you can
guest.
share, Kentrell. It's a safe space.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell you what, we're going to take a time out and get things loaded up and back on track. We are live in Sheboygan and Wausau. We welcome our listeners and our viewers on our Midwest Communications websites. And, of course, Stadium View hosting us here tonight. See what's going on.
Well, you got Singo here every Wednesday from 6 to 9. Double Bubble every Monday from 10 a.m. to close. Every weekday from 10 to 7. They've got Hank's Caboostic Band. They're going to be playing inside of the Stadium View tomorrow from 6 to 9. DJ Trivia on Thursdays. Huge Halloween party is coming this Saturday night. Over $2,000 in cash and prizes and giveaways.
Nice. I babysat my daughter's dog over the weekend, and she is going to go as a raptor.
The dog is?
Yes, they're going to do a Jurassic Park kind of theme. And she showed me the raptor costume. It would be a winner here on Saturday night. I guarantee it.
How do you personally feel about pets dressing up for Halloween?
I'm not a big fan of it, but it's her dog.
Me either.
I just babysat it over the weekend. All right. Kentrell, Brice, our guest tonight. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about the self-improvement session they had today up the street. The fifth quarter returns on our bye-week edition. Live from the Stadium View right after this timeout.
Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 3-2-1 Packers v. 7-0 Los Angeles Rams. It's been, almost 30 years since I last attended and covered a game in Los Angeles. Packers played the Raiders. That's how long ago it was. The Raiders were in L.A. Last time they played the Rams in Los Angeles, I think, was 78.
Wow.
Right before I got started. They might have played... Not in Los Angeles. Anaheim Stadium, I covered a Packers-Rams game in the early 80s. But other than that, it's been a long time coming. Kentrell, Brice, Packers safety, our guest. No hot or cold play today. Obviously, there's no hot or cold plays to talk about yesterday. But you guys got back to work today, Kentrell. And Mike McCarthy said it was a self-improvement day. Meetings, get back at it. And the across-the-hall meetings where you guys went up with the receivers, David Ryan?
Quarterbacks.
You were the quarterbacks.
Yes.
So it was the corners and the receivers,
yes.
And you were the quarterbacks.
Yes.
How did that go?
Very serious meeting, but
was it?
Yeah. You have to be more serious in those settings, in those meetings, just simply because those are two pivotal positions are key, and you have to talk to everyone on the field, and you have to know everything on the field.
You've got to know, the quarterback's got to know what all 10 are doing. You've got to know what all 10 are doing.
Yes.
Did it ever get to the uncomfortable level?
No.
I mean, was it... I know that there was a lot of back and forth. Here's what you're doing well. Here's how you're getting attacked.
Yes.
Right? And here's how we can confuse quarterbacks and those guys. Does it get pointed? It must. I mean, you have to be very honest and blunt about your observations of the other side, right?
Oh, yeah, they are, and they show us things to how we can get better with certain things, and we tell them how they can get better with certain things. They tell us what certain concepts will attack the safeties and put us in stress positions, versus we'll tell them their tendencies on offense, like if Devontae is lined up to one side, what happens, or certain things like that. So that's how we get a beat.
How to avoid rolling?
Yes.
Because there have been a couple occasions where you were kind of caught in no man's land.
Yeah.
This season. So Aaron and Deshaun and Tim and Frank are giving you tips on how to handle that a little better.
The couple of plays that I caught in, the calls that were called were to beat that coverage. So I was kind of in it. I was in the position that I had to. Yeah,
man. It's
a part of the game.
I know.
So I just got to make the play somehow.
That's what a lot of fans don't realize is that the defensive call sometimes is just.
It's
not the right
perfect.
call for what they run on the other side of the ball. That's just football.
Yeah, it won't be perfect every time, but 99% of the time we're getting out the best calls. But if we're not in the best call, we have to make it to the way we're in the best call. So either way it goes, we have to be right. You see what I'm saying?
True. I know. Yeah. It's not good to be wrong. So what kind of things did you impress upon the quarterbacks?
We just basically kind of showed them their tendencies, where they threw the ball more to each side of the fields and things like that, just to get a feel for things and show them what they could improve on, and throw a defense off track to where they couldn't read what they were doing and things like that.
I could see where that would really be beneficial, and you could take that kind of conversation to the field with a young quarterback. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't developed enough experience to go off primary, secondary, third or fourth reads, and move safeties with his eyes and with his pumps and things like that. Josh Allen, a good example. He looked lost. He really did look lost in that Buffalo game.
Can't comment on that one.
Huh?
Cannot comment on that one.
All right. And even Trubisky to some extent. But now you're going to see another young guy in Goff who's got a very motion-driven offense. Mm-hmm. They're going to try and get you moving.
Yeah.
And that's going to require some real discipline.
Yeah.
I think it will.
You have to have some great discipline, eye discipline, and everything like that, just to make sure you focus on your keys.
Tremont said that same thing.
Yeah,
today too.
You got to have eye discipline.
Yeah, eye discipline.
Because if you take your
of the day.
If you take your eyes off your man for a split second, he might be going the opposite direction, and you might have thought he was blocking, and it might be touchdown.
And that's just not eyes on the quarterback discipline. That's eyes on everybody coming at you discipline. That's a good point.
Yeah, you have to keep your eyes on your responsibility.
Yeah, all right.
It must be motivation for you to be the team that hands them their first loss.
I mean, we don't really look at it like that. We attack it each week as we must win each week. So this is another week we're coming in. Like, we have to win this game. We must win this game, so we have to find a way to win.
But you know they're undefeated.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not hey, let's be the ones.
I mean, they bleed just like we bleed, so we're going to line up and play the game.
Ooh, I like that. Make them bleed.
Yeah. So,
you guys never look at records. You never look at stats. You look at players, how they're playing. They're players.
Yeah, they're players. If you make something bigger than what it is, then you're psyching yourself out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. There's no talk of 7-0 going on. Everybody out here is talking 7-0. Oh, my God, they're 7-0. They're lighting up scoreboards every week. But if you think like that, why even make the trip?
Come play the game.
You got to play the game.
Because it's Los Angeles.
Yeah, well,
that's great weather.
Yeah, that's why I'm making the trip.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Kentrell, what was life like for you growing up in Ruston, Louisiana?
Small country town, but it's not really country. It's kind of just a smaller town.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's really about it. Football was kind of big. Football and basketball was big, so I really kind of stuck to football.
How did you decide on Louisiana Tech?
It was in my hometown. I didn't have to leave, but originally I committed to like 4 different schools. I couldn't make up my mind at first.
Really?
Yeah.
What schools did you commit to and then eventually put to the side?
Missouri, Ole Miss, Oregon State, and I can't remember anything else.
Jeez, you're going to get on television and all that stuff. SEC, Pac-12, but the home draw was...
I felt in my mind, if you can make the NFL, you can make them anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I was like, it didn't matter.
When did you start getting a sense that you had a shot to make it in the NFL?
I always knew in my mind that that's what I wanted to do, and I knew I have the God-given ability in my body to do certain things that other people can't do. So I always knew that I was meant to do something playing football because I'm good at it. So
now, an undrafted free agent. What was the buzz? Do you remember what the buzz was surrounding you going into the draft? What was the talk about you? Were you projected to be an undrafted? Were you maybe a late round guy?
I honestly, I didn't even try to pay attention to that. I don't even think I had a buzz. I have no idea.
Did you go to the combine?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Not even invited to the combine?
Nope. No Senior Bowl.
Then you're off the radar.
Yep.
Sort of. So the Packers called. Any others?
I think a couple called on after as soon as the draft was over, but I wasn't really paying attention to it.
Where were you? Who were you with when it was a go that you were going to sign with the Packers?
I wanted to be alone during the draft process just because I didn't know how I was going to go, and you know how family and everybody was like, you should have been there, you should have been there, or friends should have been like, you should have been there. I just didn't want to be around all that at the time, so I just kind of got off, watched it on my own, and then by the time I got home, I was telling them who I was going to sign with. Yeah.
And the opportunity here, you seized it. You made it the hard way. What was that first camp like? And what were your thoughts coming in about the odds are long, KB? I mean, they are.
Honestly, I had put my head down and I just said, I gotta make it. It was no turnaround. I drove my car, actually, my first car. I drove it from Louisiana to here. I was like, ain't no turning around.
You're like Deshaun Watson going to the Texans game yesterday, 12-hour bus ride.
Yeah,
so you took the old car all the way up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of soul searching on that ride, I bet.
Well, mentality was I gotta make it. No choice.
Did you get close to Marwin? You guys both stuck together that same year in the same kind of position. What was that like? Just how did you bounce off how this day went at practice, what I got to do tomorrow, how are we going to get here and stay here?
We just always talked about how we're going to get better, what we got to do, and things like that, honestly. And we became real good friends just off the field, too, so it's more than football.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, was football always the dream? Was that always the goal for you?
Yeah, always.
When did that start for you? I mean, when did you get it into your head, hey, I'm doing this?
I don't remember when, but I was young and I was watching TV and I used to watch the NFL. I was like, I can play in the NFL, I'm going to play in the NFL. And then, everybody always said, have a backup plan. I don't have no backup plan.
You didn't have a backup plan.
No. This is it. All right, here's my plan. Well, that's amazing drive
to
tackle the goal. And that's the thing. Set it out there and go get it. Did you know Tremont at all? Or know of Tremont at his Tech days?
I knew him through one of my coaches named Coach Jackson at Louisiana Tech. He kind of said I should try to reach out to him and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to reach out to him at the time, but when we got to meet each other here, it was just, connection.
Instant connection, obviously, with the Tech connection. And he did it the same way, undrafted. He's made it a hell of a career, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow in the steps.
Let's get 10 years in.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get you back at 10.
You a Saints fan growing up then?
No, I really have a favorite team growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a fan of the game?
Yeah.
Were you a fan of players? Did you track players?
I always have favorite players. Bob Sanders. I used to watch a lot of people. I used to watch like the Blitz big hits before my high school games. I used to try to go hit people like that.
But Bob Sanders was the top list.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that hits.
Yeah, he does.
He brought the thunder, yeah.
So the NFL doesn't like big hits anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You can squeeze them in here and there. You just got to find the right time to do it.
But in the instant, though, Kentrell, we had to do this with Clay for like 3 weeks in a row. How do you tell your mind in that instant that this might not be legal or this may be legal, or do you just go and if it laundry's on the ground, the laundry's on the ground?
Honestly, one game I try to think about it, and after that, man, I said forget it.
Really?
If they're going to find me, they're going to find me. I'm just going to peel it, and we're going to have to go with it. So hopefully I make enough plays to go make some money.
You shelled enough fines to pay for the old car that you drove up here with? Not quite like Montez Perfect, I imagine.
The amount of fines I got probably double how much it's worth.
What kind of car did you drive up here in?
Chevrolet Impala.
Ah,
Ooh,
nice.
All right. Yeah, big boat.
Yeah,
not real big.
Smooth ride.
Smooth ride with Kentrell Brice to get from Louisiana Tech to Green Bay. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, final thoughts from Kentrell on what's ahead for this Packer team. It's not just the Rams, but there's some big boys waiting to see if this team can get things going. We'll come back with more of the fifth quarter live from the Stadium View right after this break. All right, welcome back, everybody. Kentrell Brice, Packer safety, is our guest tonight. Very interesting insight onto how this team's thinking as they're going into a real tough stretch of games. You're going to be putting on a lot of miles, man. That's L.A. one Sunday, Foxborough the next.
Coast to coast.
And out to Seattle in a couple of weeks. Jeez Louise. Tough stretch, but like you said, a lot of guys have said, we're not thinking Brady, we're not thinking the rematch with the Vikings. It's all Rams, and this, as we've spoken, is a very talented team that is going to challenge you guys in a whole lot of ways. Through the air, obviously, Todd Gurley, obviously,
most definitely. Very
physical back. I think it's Gurley. We've seen a little bit of him.
I mean, arguably with Le'Veon not playing right now, he might be the best running back in the NFL right now.
He scored more points than the Buffalo Bills offense this year.
I'll say it. That's not that hard to do.
I suppose. But he has got power. He's got home run ability. He's got it all. A really good challenge for you guys. No question about it. But I like what the guys up front are doing. Kenny Clark, Mike Daniels. I know Muhammad Wilkerson's injury, that hurt.
Yeah, it really did.
It really did. And we can't forget that. I thought he was really good at it. But you see these guys kind of mixing it up. Talk about how Kenny is playing.
Kenny's playing tremendously well. He's doing things that you turn on the film, he treating a 300-pound man like he looked like 120 pounds.
I'm seeing him treat 600 pounds well. He's handling
really well.
and beating double teams.
He's playing extremely well.
Very difficult to do as a defensive tackle. Blake in front of you is a tackling machine.
He's sideline to sideline. He's making his tackles.
And really, I think he's been the most effective blitzer.
Oh, yeah. He's been getting, I don't know how many sacks he has, but I've seen at least 2 or 3.
I know it's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is going to be the key. Get Goff off the spot just enough, right?
Just get him off we can see what we can do, get him off the spot, and, try to see if we can try to throw on the run and see how good his accuracy is then, and just play fundamentally sound, honestly.
You practice against a guy who throws on the run pretty well.
Extremely well.
Probably as good as anybody.
Yeah.
So what's an average quarterback like on the run? Do you see a significant drop-off in accuracy? Do you see anything? Because going against, I think, the best at it has really got to help you.
Going against Aaron Rodgers every day, he might give you a no-look pass. I remember
that one at training camp.
Throw it to the right. you might take a second like, hold on, he was just looking the opposite direction. Like, so he's going, he do just things that you just can't really fathom in football. So he just keeps you on your toes and keeps you alert for things. So when you kind of see other guys, you kind of can gauge what they'll do, whether they going to throw it, run it, or try to, you know what I'm saying, look you off and throw it. But so Aaron does a great job of doing in practice of making us kind of play true to the coverage and stick to things just because he can throw across the body.
That's got to be a great benefit every day to practice against Aaron.
Most definitely. It's like scramble do every day in practice.
Yeah, no kidding. See?
Kentrell, do you remember what your welcome to the NFL moment was when you realized this is no longer college, I'm in the pros?
A lot of moments. Good and bad. So I can't really tell you.
Nothing jumps out like,
nah.
Yeah.
They all been either too good or too bad. So it's like you got to take the high with the high and the low with the low.
What's one thing that Packers fans would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm a very mysterious person. I don't like telling people stuff about
You don't have like a unique hobby or something?
Can't tell y'all that now.
All right. Okay.
But
well, one thing we're learning is you like to keep close to the vest.
Keep it close. Keep it close. Can't let out too much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I like talking to you in the locker room, though. I really do, because we will talk, and I like your honesty about how things are going, good or bad. And I appreciate that, because a lot of guys, first of all, run when they see us coming.
Yeah.
and two, when we do talk, yeah, it's blather. But you're, like I said at the very top, you're direct, you're blunt, and you're very honest. And that is appreciated, Kentrell. Even on tonight's show, if you don't want to tell us what you're thinking, I don't care. But when you do speak, you carry the stick.
Yeah, I try.
You do. All right. So, the ankle's well, right?
I'm always well.
I know you're always well enough. I know you're always well enough.
You wouldn't tell us if you weren't anyway.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, you kind of squirreled out in that therapy session a couple of weeks ago, but that's fine. So the attitude of this team off the break.
Mm-hmm.
Give us kind of a synopsis of did Mark McCarthy just play revelry and let's charge to L.A.? Is he as business as usual? How are you guys now back for? I know it's been a disappointing first 6. 3-2-1 is not what you guys wanted, obviously, but there's still everything out there in front of you.
We know we have to be better, and those mistakes we made those first 6 games, they can't happen anymore. Because we're coming into a stretch of games that if you lose in these games, you're really going to knock yourself out of trying to get into the playoffs or playing for the Super Bowl, honestly. So we have to lock in and play our game, play our defense, and play offense do their thing. So we just have to lock in, honestly.
All right. Get it locked in. Anything last shots there for KBZ?
I think that's it.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Kentrell, I do appreciate you coming over, especially coming off the bye.
I appreciate
Glad you enjoyed the week off. Let's go see what happens in L.A., shall we?
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kentrell Brice, our guest tonight. When we come back, we'll take a little swing around the rest of the NFL in week number 7 and look ahead to Sunday's date at the Coliseum. 5th quarter heads to the finish line right after this.
Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right. I'm just laughing about Kentrell Brice. Really appreciate him coming over. I was telling Z before we got going that, he's made a few, but I was amazed at how driven he was driving to Green Bay to try and make the NFL, because it was either that or he's probably going to be back working at a grocery store in Ruston. Who knows? He had no idea what he was going to do.
Yes.
So I'll do this.
As you heard him say, that was the sole focus. There wasn't a backup plan. Didn't want to hear.
He's one of 32 starting free safeties in the NFL. Not bad.
It doesn't work out for everyone like that.
No, it does not.
That's rare, where it's just, all right, this is what I'm doing, and you can't tell me no.
All right. So we're going to wrap things up by just taking a quick tour around the NFL. We usually do our locker room segment at the beginning of the show, but beginning of the show, well, we all know what happened at the beginning of the show tonight. So let's do that now, shall we? And before we go, we'll send somebody to the Packer Pro Shop from our friends at Robinson's. Locker rooms around the league. First stop, MetLife Stadium, where the Minnesota Vikings moved into first place in the North at 4-2-1, 37-17 win over the Jets. Kirk Cousins threw for a pair, and what he said was a respectful road win.
Winning on the road is important in this league, and I was glad we were able to do that. But I have great respect for the Jets, and I think they're building a team that's going to be very good. They got a lot of pieces that I think have a very bright future, and I have a lot of respect for their coaching staff and for what they're doing.
Easy to say when you whoop them by 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else are you going to say, Kirk
They're
Cousins?
not good. How about they're not good?
They aren't.
No, they're not. Next up, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. That's where Kentrell was spending his bye week. That's where the Detroit Lions handled the Dolphins 32-21. Kerryon Johnson, we saw him a couple of weeks ago. He got to the edge.
It's good.
How about a $158 on 19 carries? Matthew Stafford says, boy, a running game like that makes life a whole lot easier.
We're just going to keep working to improve. That's our biggest thing, is every week to try to build and get better. And we certainly have, I think we have 4 good running backs. We have a good fullback. We have good tight ends. We have good wide receivers. So I think they're just all trying to work as hard as they can to get better, and that's the biggest thing.
Sounds like the Lions should be undefeated.
Yes, but they're 3-3. As are the Bears, who put up a good fight at Soldier Field before bowing to the Patriots 38-31. Tom Brady fired 3 TDs and said, we'll take a 4th straight win.
They made some plays. We made some. Obviously, it came down to about 1 yard. But I think for us to get a win on the road was something we've been talking about, something we need to do. And we played a little bit better today. I think there's still a lot of things we can do better.
That's 4 straight, though, for the Pats. Mitch Trubisky and the Bears did make it interesting. You heard Tom talk about it. Trubisky ran for 81 yards and a score on a ridiculous scramble. And on the final play, launched a 55-yard Hail Mary pass that unfortunately covered only 54 yards. Kevin White pulled it down at the 1 and thought he was going to score.
For a split second I did, until I felt a bunch of guys. Then I kind of knew it was over, but I just tried to stretch the ball and actually tried to hand it to TG, but there was no time left.
It really is a game of inches, especially when you watch that play.
Yeah.
Trubisky almost had the ball batted as he's throwing it, almost gets his arm hit by a linebacker. Josh Gordon, the receiver, almost breaks up the ball before it gets into Kevin White's hands, like by inches. And then as White turns to stretch, he gets pushed back by a DB who's kind of under the pile. So, I mean, it was just bang, bang.
I guess you needed a, bigger tight end like Richard Rodgers to just go up and lean back in. But he was in the end zone on that one at Detroit. So, Bears 3-3. They go from the first place to last place, share in the North. Our final stop, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, where the Rams rolled over the Niners 39-10. Todd Gurley scored 3 more times to keep the Rams perfect with the league's best record.
Definitely a great divisional win. We needed it, and we got a long stretch, and a lot of teams are the NFC teams, and those are the games that we need to win.
Yeah, they keep rolling. Rams 7-0, and head coach Sean McVay says, bring on the pack.
Let's find a way to get better, and we've got a great opportunity to go against a really tough team in the Green Bay Packers, coming off of a bye, being back at home. So really, every single week you kind of write a new story, but we've got to be consistent with our approach.
He's 32. It sounds like he's 21.
He's 32. That just blows my mind every time the Rams are mentioned or McVay is mentioned, that he is a 32-year-old head coach of an NFL football team.
He got his team into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
With a lot of firepower offensively. Still have that firepower offensively.
More firepower this year than they had last year.
I understand. But their defense is not locked down. Aaron Donald is going crazy. But again, they played the Niners, the worst turnover team, as the Packers found out, in the league. Turned it over 4 more times yesterday. They sacked C.J. Beathard 7 times yesterday. I think the Packers can protect a little bit better than that. We're going to see Aaron Rodgers under center, more mobile than he's been all season since he trotted out before the injury against Chicago. So look for the keeps, look for the rollout play action thing. They've got to get Jones going. They've got to get Williams going. Got to keep Aaron Donald honest. And I think they will be able to make some plays against a secondary that includes Sam Shields, for good's sake.
They're banged up.
Yeah, they are beat up. Sam has been playing, coming back off that concussion that we thought was career-ending. But they got a collection of guys that are not preferred at the back end, and I think the Packers can take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is the Packers' strength, right, is Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. So to have a defense like the Rams, who are banged up in the secondary with Talib out and some other guys with injuries, you can take advantage of that. But the big challenge is Aaron Donald, as you mentioned. Can you slow him down enough and not have him be an impact
and don't forget,
game changer?
I know, he is a defensive tackle that gets
he's an inside
8
guy.
sacks on the season. So that's going to almost be incumbent on the Packers. I hate to say this, but to run away from him with the key pass. And if he is in the gun, it's coming out in 2.2 seconds.
Right, and the run game is going to be key to slow down the rush. make them think, all right, there is an option here they're going to run. I can't just go all out to get after Rodgers. Run. Try to have a balanced offense. And that means, as we've talked about every single week basically, don't fall behind early. So you can use that run game to your advantage.
Kentrell talked about it.
Yeah.
Patton hasn't been able to dial it up because we've been in very adverse situations in too many games so far this season. Can the defense slow these guys down? They're putting up 30-plus a game.
It could be, one of those classic shootouts where, all right, we're just going to go up and down. We're going to go up and down.
Vikings went up and down with them.
Yep.
That was a 38-31 game. They've given up plenty
They're
of points.
They're undefeated, but they're beatable. I mean, they're not this team, I don't think, that anyone is looking at and going, this is the greatest team we've ever seen. They're guaranteed to go 16-0. They're going to lose along the way.
I would think.
Why not to the Packers? Why not to an Aaron Rodgers-led offense to really challenge that defense?
This is one of the games I've been wanting to cover for a long time. Right. I mean, as the Rams were building and the Packers were floundering, we will find out Sunday, okay, whether or not there's going to be an optimistic Monday a week from tonight, or for the season, or not. Because if they go out there and are very competitive, I'll be fine. If they go out there and get torched, I'll have my doubts. And if they go out there and win, look out.
Right.
Because this team, I think, needs confidence. Not 22-0 against Buffalo, but a victory over the Rams, I think, would put wind in their sails to go, I'm not saying run the table, but really make things a lot tougher on everybody that they're going to face the rest of the way.
Well, when a bye week comes early, I mean, after you go 3-2-1, well, now you've got 10 more games where you better get some momentum early because you don't get a week off. You don't get a regroup point like some of the other teams are going to have several weeks from now. So you better make a statement. This is a statement game early in the year.
Yeah, there it is. But then there are more in front of them. We talked about it. Pats, Dolphins, Seahawks, Vikings. They get through that 5, and they're still in the hunt, and I believe they will be, at least in this North Division. The last 5, I think, are doable. Right. So, going to be a very...
Yeah, this is the tough stretch.
No kidding. We all knew it was coming, and that's why it was disappointing that they only sit 3-2-1 into this tough stretch. But it's here. Let's see what happens. All right, our friends from Robinson's are going to send somebody to the Packer Pro Shop because the boys are heading out on the road, and we've got a whole bunch of names to draw from. Stick around. We got some more door prizes coming after we go off the air tonight. Well, who's going shopping?
Gene Rasmussen.
Gene Rasmussen. Getting herself some goodies over at the Packer Pro Shop. All right, bye week's over. Let's go play 10 games in a row. Next stop, L.A.
And now it's just all football. There's no more baseball to have to divide our attention.
That's a fact. So I'll be in L.A. with coverage all weekend. Be back here next Monday night for another go-round. For Matt C., I'm Mark Daniels. Thanks to Kentrell, Brice for coming on. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll see you next week. So long.